Hi all, I hope you guys have written answer to today's question. And our topic for today was social justice from GS2. If you have gotten it, if you have not gotten it evaluated, please do get it evaluated from CollectorBabu. As usual, we'll not waste much of our time and go straight into discussion mode. Okay. So I've taken 3 PYQs and we will break it down in parts to see how to approach such questions from social justice, which might seem difficult by its nature, but it is not that difficult. You just need to know to break it down and to approach it in a systematic way. So our first question was development and welfare schemes for the vulnerable by its very nature are discriminatory in approach. Do you agree? Give reasons for the answer. So, there are two ways to answer this. First we can say what is the rationale for the discriminatory approach in development schemes and welfare schemes. Okay, we'll give certain reasons and examples, and then we will say that we'll first give the rationale, then we will say yes, obviously this seems discriminatory, but it is not so. Okay, we'll say ki it might create certain problems, but it is not so, because in the longer run our aim is to empower those communities and to create certain enabling environment for them. You get it? So let's approach. What we can write is, while seemingly discriminatory in their targeted approach, the development schemes are fundamentally designed to create substantive equality. Okay, use this term. Substantive equality is the most important term if you're writing any answer, whether it's an affirmative action or any benefit of any government scheme or something. Okay, how the intention is to create substantive equality by addressing historical and structural disadvantages faced by marginalized communities. So, in the introduction itself, we have said that why it is necessary. Remember, your topic is social justice. Remember that even if on the first reading of the question, it might seem that question is saying that it is discriminatory in its approach, you don't have to say so. As the people in administration, as civil servants, your duty is going to be serving them. So you cannot say it is discriminatory in its approach. Even though it is discriminatory, why is it so? You have to give a rationale for it. Okay? So you can write a subheading talking about rationale for certain targeted interventions in these schemes. Okay? We will talk about social and historical systematic exclusions. Okay, the exclusions they have faced. Then you will also talk about this term compensatory mechanism. Okay, you need to write this term compensatory mechanism. You need to write terms like historical and structural disadvantages. Okay, so thus creating certain government schemes, a welfare scheme will help in inclusive development. All these are the terms which are sine qua non to answering this question. Okay, then you can give plenty of examples. Okay, you can give examples like, see, I have written it here, but you can just make a hub and spoke, as we have talked about previously, like various government scheme, including using targeted interventions. Like you'll talk about Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, right? MG Narega, okay, Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. Like mostly all the schemes by the government is for the welfare of certain section. Okay, so all the government schemes, all the welfare schemes are in the way discriminatory only, targeted to some group. Okay, so do this. And after that, you can make a subheading talking about the constitutional perspective or the legal perspective that enables government to do this, right? It is in government's mandate to work for the structurally and societally disadvantaged section. That is what social justice is all about. Okay, we'll talk about constitutional perspective because again, this is GS2 paper. Without constitutional perspective, your answer won't be complete. So you'll talk about Article 15.4 and 16.4, allowing for special provisions for disadvantaged group. We'll talk about substantive equality versus formal equality, okay, which is the very basis principle of providing any welfare measure, okay. It helps address structural barriers, okay. Like some might have very, very far away starting point, while some might have it very near the finish point. You need to provide everybody with equity in a sense that everybody can achieve the things that are deemed socially desirable. Okay. Then you can talk about Supreme Court validated reservation. So even though it is discriminatory, but it has constitutional, judicial, legal backing. You will talk about how SECC data shows something, how Bihar's caste census shows some data. Okay, you will talk about those. That the evidence is provided that there are groups which are suffering far more than others. So there is this need of structural and some discrimination in implementing government schemes and welfare measures. Okay, so you will talk about then limitations and potential discriminatory outcome. So then you will say yes, they seem discriminatory because of these reasons, right? Because it has the risk of creating dependency culture, creating moral hazard. Okay, what else? It can lead to stigmatization of the people who are beneficiary, because it's not just discriminatory to the people who do not get benefit, but also a stigmatization of those who get benefited. That's why you would see sometimes people, when they get employment, or when they get admission in any premier institute through reservation, they try to hide the fact. It's not wrong, it's not wrong at all, but what is it, that people stigmatize them, that they are taking benefit of the system while they don't deserve, and etc etc. You know how the statement goes. Okay, so we'll talk about stigmatizing the beneficiary group. Okay, we'll talk about it's very challenging to precisely target. So there are issues of leakages and all. Okay, and then obviously, as we have talked about, reverse discrimination, like people who are not the beneficiary. Okay, so in conclusion, we'll just reiterate the same thing, that though it may seem discriminatory, but this mechanism is to ensure substantive equality. I have used this word thrice now. You need to use this word in your answer. The goal is not perpetual dependency, but to create enabling ecosystem. Okay, this is how you were supposed to, go forward in this answer. Let's go toward the second question, which is skill development programs have succeeded in increasing human resources supply to various sectors. Okay, that means the various skill development initiative like skill in mission, apprentice mission, etc. Okay, they have been successful. Okay, but in this context, you need to actually analyze how and what is the linkage between education, skill, and employment. Okay, you get it? Education, skill, and employment. You need to analyze this. First part is just giving the context that yes, skill development measures have been successful. So you can just say that yes, skill development in the introduction, skill development has, you can quote some data like according to skill India missions, as per the data given by economic survey, etc. This amount of people have been trained. Okay, this amount of people have been issued certificate. This shows that yes, they have been successful in some measures. Okay, then we'll talk about the linkage, which is the main crux of the question. Okay, what are you going to write here? Linkage between education, skill, and employment. So the first thing you will be writing is education as the foundation, right? Education is the foundation that will provide the conceptual knowledge, and that will provide analytical ability to understanding, critical thinking. That comes only through education, right? Vocational education. What is it? A pathway to skill. How education is serving as a foundation. Okay, here itself you can write some of the challenges like but many of the educational institute, they focus on rote learning. Okay, and often leaving student without any practical job oriented skill. So here then you'll talk about skill development as the bridge. So basically this is like a narration story type answer, but every answer you need to write in points, so you'll have to break it down. Okay, because this is just asking you one simple thing: analyze the relationship. To support your argument you can use data, but you need to have the story how they are related. Okay, then skill training provide industry specific expertise. Okay, and it provides job readiness. You can give some of the examples like of the placement opportunity, etc. Okay, skill development is the bridge, and then through skill, okay, the foundation of which was provided by education, people do get employment, right? It provides increased opportunity. Okay, then what does it provide? It provides economic growth, making India the powerhouse. Okay, then what else? We'll talk about increasing the employment level, increase per capita income, increasing standard of living, etc. Employment is the outcome. So you need to have this clear in your mind. Okay, that is what you're going to explain. Then you can just give some of the challenges. This part is optional. You can write it, you cannot write it. Okay, which is asking about the role of government and stakeholder. You can give certain examples here, which is basically a way to just write examples. Either you can write it like this, or what else you can do is you can just make a box and write case studies, and I'll show you how. Okay, so what are you going to do? Just like you have written your answer, then you will put a box. In the box, you're going to give some case study. Okay, you will give the heading case study. Okay, wait a minute. Yeah, you will give the heading case study, and then you will write this like policy interventions by skill intervention, etc., giving industry specific skill. Okay, then here you can just give some other example how some companies like, or you can actually give the example of Meta and IIT, various IITs, the joint collaboration to develop certain generative AI platforms, etc. Okay, this is what you can do. So you can use this box. This box is a very good measure. In fact, in fact, if you see some of the toppers copy, like if you see AIR1, Aditya Srivastav copy, you will see this format being used in his copy excessively. Okay, so this part will primarily highlight your example. Okay, so try to don't overuse it, but definitely try to write one or two answers in this point format. Okay, so what is the way forward? The way forward is to align our education and align our skill development initiative in accordance with Sharda Prasad Committee. So here you need to know this committee's name, which is Sharda Prasad Committee. Okay, we're talking about reform education, skill-oriented curriculum, implement national education policy, even though that was not said by Sharda Prasad, but you can give your own recommendations as well. Then you will talk about continuous skill upgradation fund. Okay, and in the data, like you can give some of the context here, like Skill India report. Sorry, yeah, Skill India report. It says like this much people have been skilled, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so this is the way forward, and then you can just say that skill development programs have shown promise, which was the context of the question. However, this success requires that the educational skill ecosystem leads to job creation. Okay. So what else? Like, and also in like you can give some, like here we have written challenges per head, or you can, what you can do is, like instead of writing challenges like after every point, you can just make a common challenge and write challenges for all. There you can write about how, like, even though we have so many STEM graduates but they are not employable. Okay, you'll give some data like that. Okay. So what are we supposed to write here? Can the vicious cycle of gender inequality, poverty, and malnutrition be broken through microfinancing of women's self-help group? Explain with examples. See, till now, if you have noticed this thing that UPSC has asked, like in social justice part, it has asked question which requires connecting dots and explanation rather than just stating facts. Okay, can the vicious cycle, you have to analyze it, right? Can it lead to? So for that you have to talk about points. Okay, yes, this can happen. Okay, yes, this can happen. No. Okay, so you'll talk about microfinance. If you have some data about microfinance condition of India, like how many crore loans have been dispersed, for example, under Mudra Yojana, etc., you can give that as a starting point. You can just write it in your introduction. Noha, it's a very decent introduction. Or you can just define what microfinance in context of self-help group is, providing them with resources, helping them make collective economic decision, etc. Okay, then you will say that yes, this microfinance has some significance. In the body part, you'll write significance of microfinance of women's self-help group. Okay. First, we have to talk about gender inequality, right? Then of poverty, then of malnutrition. See, these three things you cannot just write in one body part. You have to break it down in three, which is a must because all the three part has to be addressed. How it helps tackle gender inequality, poverty, and malnutrition. Okay. So you can just say, okay, yes, it helps tackle, break the cycle of gender inequality. You can say like it helps women it leads to women empowerment through financial inclusion, decision making autonomy. Okay. You can talk about how it helps to challenge patriarchal structure and how it helps to create economic independence. Okay, you'll give some example like Kudum Shri, very famous example. You cannot just leave it. You just need to. So, what are you supposed to do? So there you will give example of Kudumshri. If you have some data, just do it. Then second is addressing poverty through economic opportunities. How microfinance helps to develop those economic opportunities, right? So yeah, you'll be talking about creating sustainable livelihood opportunity, like how microfinance of the Bangladesh Grameen Bank model it helped lift millions of women out of extreme poverty. Okay, reducing dependency and generating alternative income streams. Okay, it actually acts as a safety net, right? Then you will talk about combating malnutrition and health challenges. Okay, which was the third part about malnutrition. You'll talk about investing microfinance, earning in family nutrition and healthcare. Women tend to do this, promoting health awareness and preventative healthcare practices. Okay, for example, like through enhanced awareness about the consequences of consuming tobacco, alcohol, etc., they partake in preventative health measures or spending in spending in women's sanitary measures. Okay, then we'll talk about enhancing food security through agricultural and allied activities, right? Okay, so again, what we did earlier, we'll do this, we'll make a box and give one case study. Here I have given the case study of Tamil Nadu, Mahalir Titham. I know I have pronounced it wrong, but just forgive me. Okay, so microcredit to small women, regular training session. With higher income, women spend more on nutrition and health. Simple. Okay, this will increase the visibility and help you gain more marks, which is the aim. Okay, so how are we going to conclude? Okay, so we'll give some of the challenges like, yeah, financial literacy is a challenge. Obviously, you're going to write that whatever latest available data you have, write it down. Then talk about complex loan procedures and high interest rate. Okay. Then again, self-help group itself has this flaw, which is that everybody is liable for everybody else's responsibility. For example, when they take a loan, for example, if one person takes loan but they are not able to repay, then every other person in the group itself they are liable to repay it. So this creates some of the more challenges. Patriarchal structures have still remained the same. Okay, so and again banks are reluctant to give loans to women. You'll talk about inadequate market linkages for women entrepreneurs. Then technological barriers, like for example women do not have access to digital devices, right, which creates technological barriers and gaining some competitive advantage. You'll just end it because whenever we talk about self-help group, Ella Bhatt is a name you cannot miss to write. In conclusion you can just write Ella Bhatt, the founder of Seva. She stated the power to transform a family, a community, and ultimately a nation lies in the hands of women. You might have millions of other quote, but Ella Bhatt is a name worth mentioning in this question. So microfinance through self-help group represents not just a financial intervention but a holistic approach to social transformation. Okay, I hope you guys have been able to understand how to write this question very clearly because I have given some time and explained it. Hopefully, you guys implement whatever you learn in this session, and I promise you it will be beneficial for you. And please get your answer evaluated on the platform, and because it will give you instant feedback which is the need of the hour, because you cannot have time to wait till maybe 2 days or 7 days or something. Get it instantly fixed so that you can improve upon it. You watch the session and hopefully you learn something. Till then, take care. Bye bye. Happy writing.